Take it away, Jack.
Well, at this point,
There's an intro first.
I'll get to you pretty
there's an
quickly.
intro first. I mean, there is
One
still.
quick item, Jack, staff, this last weekend with the Wakeland stuff, you guys did a great job holding the crowds. It was really quiet and a lot of extra work. Appreciate you guys, what you guys did on that.
Which makes us confident to know you can do it again for the 4th of July, so that's.
Well, in some case, it's a little bit different.
Let's not put the cart before.
I-
You don't
I-
have to, you have the
I-
resources
I-
of Secret Service with
I-
us.
I
That's
actually-
the stage.
Yeah, actually, at this point in time, there has to be even more discussion with, we have a conference call tomorrow morning with the second floor, Department of Parks, Cornell, to discuss the issue of the 4th of July and Southpoint Park and Four Freedoms Park. The fact of the matter is that it would be almost an overwhelming challenge. It is a challenge. I mean, Margie, I know what you're saying about Hillary. No,
Say worse.
you said it was really, and we could have done it, but the fact of the matter, it was during the day. There were 1,000 volunteers. There was Secret Service. There were NYPD. There were park rangers. We don't have that. We're not going to have that on 4th of
Yeah.
July.
We had
Plus-
the governor ordering the train to stay open.
Right.
Right.
Right, what we're going to have is no electricity on West Road, none. Because the line, they're gonna lay the utility line. So we would have to literally take the power, even to put lights on the railing, we'd have to take the power from Southpoint Park and do lights. Then we would have to rent maybe 10 of the stanchions.
Portable generator light
Okay.
things, yeah.
Yeah,
The tower lights.
yeah, the tower lights,
Maybe more.
maybe more. And we'd have to put that on. Then we would have then we would have to barricade a lot because the road has to not have people on it because it's an emergency road. That's all you can use it for. And at that point in time, we would have to have enough people to make sure people are not on the road, to make sure people are going. And at one point in the Promenade, it is 4 feet wide. This event is going to happen from 7 to 11. That's just the reality of it. It's not going to be an all day, people are going to wander. There could be up to 7,000 people there. I mean, at this point, with parks, we had to have, and obviously the Four Freedoms Park arranged it, had to have the railings, the gate from Renwick Park removed in order to get more people into Four Freedoms Park. So they can take 1,800, 1,500 without removing the gate. So
The fence.
fence.
The fence.
You know the fence on.
I know what fence.
In front of smallpox.
Tell me what area you're admitting people to.
Four Freedoms Park would only allow 1,500
But,
unless you.
Yeah, they wouldn't necessarily be able to see the fireworks from
Yes.
there anyway. The way the Clinton folks had the stage centered and people around it to give them a good photo opportunity of a crowd anywhere you took a picture. Yeah, that's why they had to take that fence out, not because they.
No, that's not true.
It was really based on
Ingress and egress.
evacuation.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely.
It was the
Department of
requirements of
Parks-
the
Okay.
Department of Parks
Yeah.
for ingress and egress.
Okay.
and
It was purely for egress, not for ingress.
Yeah.
It was all about
Emergency,
evacuation.
For
Yeah.
emergency
Well,
evacuation.
ingress for
Right.
emergency
Right.
vehicles,
Okay.
egress for. Yeah.
Now, they were planning going down the east side drive then for emergency vac or west side drive?
Well, you mean
Just
for the
for
Hillary
repeat.
thing?
Yeah.
We actually had arranged with Cornell to go through the construction site on the east side with Hillary, her family, and if we had to, use it as an emergency egress.
Helicopter landing.
Well, either that or even an ambulance getting out. But that was during the day. See, the first way I look at it is that back in 2007 or 8, when the last time we had East Side fireworks here, we had access on both the east and the west roadway. plus the east roadway, I guess presumably was a really good observation zone.
Yeah.
So, you know, you kind of
What I remember is most people use the west side road.
Absolutely.
The east, not very, I think that was maintained for emergency vehicles.
Well,
The east
it's-
side road, they brought the handicapped, they had
But-
the handicap van coming down and emergency vehicles and the people came
And
in
the
on the west
buses
side.
went up and down there to the ground.
No, not
Buses
that.
didn't go down that
no,
far.
Not in that area. We're talking about.
We're talking once you get to the point.
But it was
Oh.
there if you needed it in an
Yeah.
emergency evacuation. I'm not talking about one ambulance, I'm talking about several
Yeah,
thousand
direct,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
The crowd estimates were like 6,000
Yeah.
that year.
Yeah.
I think it was
Thanks.
4.
Thank you.
No.
No, it was like
We
6,000.
got 4,000 chairs.
I would, can I finish?
Yeah.
Thanks. And with Four Freedoms Park as appealing as it is, I think we would have more people. It's a, you know, a really nice spot. It's not a lot, there were other issues. I mean, in the end, we'll do what we have to do. But
Yeah, and it's
but
still,
my,
it's still
my,
in
my
discussion.
concerns are based on years of experience in dealing with large crowds.
We've
The
been lucky.
personnel, we had 18 people available, that's after canceling everybody's day off. The rest of the people are between the day tour 4 to 12 and the midnight. We have a commitment of 24 officers from the police department, that's gonna change. It went down to 16 for Hillary, it went down to 16 last July, and it'll go down to 16 again this year. We don't have a lot of people, we got commitment for 2 park officers, park police. There's just no one in the NYPD available anymore because this whole area of Queens is such a popular place to watch the fireworks.
Right.
Now you could bring in contract security, but I'm not really comfortable with that.
Bad idea.
Exactly. You really need trained law enforcement professionals, especially if you have to get people out in an emergency.
And we could not get any more training, we tried to get it from Motorgate, and we could not get any law enforcement because they
Suppose we only opened it for island residents.
The only open day for what?
Island residents.
You can't keep people
can't.
off the island.
Right.
No, but you could give them
don't-
tickets. You can say, do you have a ticket?
Right,
No.
you could keep them
You can get
out
them
of
on
the park,
right.
but you can't keep them off the
Right.
island.
That's a
Right.
perfect recipe for a riot. When they see people who live here being allowed to go down there, and they're not allowed to go down there,
People who have a
But we
ticket.
still have the light problem. I mean, we have no light.
12 days.
To tell you the truth,
12 days.
But we didn't
12
have
days till the
lights
4th of
then,
July.
when we used to do it.
at this point, it's still up in the air with parks and second floor and.
Is it even our decision? Why don't we start from there? If the second floor is involved, are we kidding ourselves to even discuss this?
Well, we will have a position and all the positions are being stated. And yes, I think we do, otherwise it would have been decided by today.
Okay, so it sounds like okay, it's gonna be dark, we're understaffed, we don't get equipment to do it. Now the other thing we have to be careful about, is there any other event planned down there? Are you guys planning to have any?
You looking at us?
Yes.
No.
We close at 7 that night normally.
Okay, because what would be a total like riot is if there was a city VIP party down there and it was closed to everybody
Don't
else.
accuse us of something
Yeah,
that is
that's
not.
why I'm checking.
Michael,
That's why I'm checking.
That's not
It's not even being
Okay.
considered.
Okay, so it sounds like we're gonna have to close that end of the island because it's not for public safety issues, because it's not big enough, there's no lights until maybe next year. Now, is there something else we could do?
We never had lights when we were down there.
Lights.
Just-
No. Prior years, I remember going down there.
Some of those, like,
never
Hold on.
had
we almost
lights.
strung up those
Hold on,
lights.
wait a second. What
Never
we
had
had in
lights
prior
down
years, we had, in the core, we had both sides of the street open, and they were lit, and we had bus transportation, from the tram, and we had our shuttle vehicles, we had bus transportation, down to the fence, where it was fenced off. Then we had generators and tower lights back in what is now Southpoint Park. We were all lit up all the way down with street lights, both city lights and the promenade lights, all the way down to Southpoint Park, the fence. And it was just a closed off fence. And then we had most of Southpoint Park fenced off completely with high fences, aside from the walkways from the gate back to the area that became Four Freedoms. And we had, in that one area, you had to have some tickets and stuff on the old elevated area, and we had the city official areas. We had the city's official areas down at the bottom.
People used to buy tickets.
And that was it. And we had lots of crowds that were standing on either side of the hospital watching the fireworks. But that was full streets, lit up, with public safety and NYPD. Now we have one side of the street, part of that, no lights. We have the full park that can fill up with X number of people, and Southpoint and Four Freedom that can fill up with people, and all the various construction zones related with that. And are those lights working, or are they out right now with the lighting work being done? The Southpoint Park lights.
They're on.
They're on? And you guys are on still?
We have
You-
no lights.
You guys are, okay.
Right.
The lights on, so it's dark.
Well, we never had lights down.
No, we did for the events.
We strung them down,
We
we brought
strung
them.
up
We
yellow
had lights.
Yeah, we
construction
brought
lights.
them, but we
Yeah.
could bring them again, is my point. Just because there are none, it's not like
We
they
now
have
we
now,
have-
we
now
never
we
had.
have
we're
to light
able
up
to
the
get
entire
electricity.
length.
We don't have any electricity.
We have to pull it from
We have to
either
pull it
end
from
of
South
that.
We always
Well,
pulled it.
there's a problem.
There's one spot down there that has electricity, that we
But
always pulled it.
before, the entire length from the tram to Southpoint Park
That's
fence
street lights.
had streetlights on both sides.
Yes.
And we had bus transportation going back and forth, going around the loop, the whole night. And we had a lot of the street traffic blocked off, aside from the buses, so we could get the emergency vehicles in and out on the east side. And even then we had crowds.
Then I think we just give tickets to people on the island. And just let the people on the island come. Then we don't have to worry, there'll be no transportation down there, we'll string some construction lights up there, and it's only islanders that get tickets.
Well, you need your disabled transportation.
I'm sorry?
You need your disabled transportation.
I'm not even sure it's legal.
What, to give tickets to people on
No,
the
to
island?
say
There's no
that other
restriction.
people in Manhattan can't come.
Anybody that has a ticket can come.
Yes, ma'am.
After going to almost all of them, I don't care about the people at the south end that have tickets. It's the 5,000 to 6,000 other people that would camp out on Goldwater's lawn, that would sit on the promenades, you were here for all of them.
Yeah.
That wasn't the problem. The people who had their tickets went down, behaved, had a good time.
Yes.
It's when you all try to exit. And I would
Right.
always walk on the East Road because I knew the East Road was empty. You could barely get past Goldwater. And I would, my friend Will would go on the East Road. No one was on the East Road. No one directed people on the East Road. It is really treacherous. I don't want it to be closed either. But I'm not worried about a few thousand people at Southpoint. Because no matter what we say, we're going to have 5,000 people coming on this island, no matter what we say. And even if they know, it doesn't matter. They'll stand somewhere. They'll see a view. On the Roosevelt Island Bridge. People stand on the Roosevelt Island Bridge.
I know, last year I was peeling kids off the railing on
Yeah.
the east side.
We wouldn't allow that this year. We
Yeah.
wouldn't allow people on the roof of the motorcade.
Well, we never ever allowed that, but first of all, 425, 455, all of those buildings have rooftop terraces, so there'll be people going there, and they have views. And it's gonna be really, it's just
But-
gonna be impossible to have people don't come to Roosevelt Island. Macy's used to always
We're
agree
not
not
saying
to
don't come to Roosevelt Island, we're just saying,
Okay.
if both roads were open,
I know.
this would not be
I think,
a
yeah,
discussion.
Right.
You're saying, well, and
The
and
buildings
it
are
means,
an issue for the building securities.
Well, that's
Yeah.
up to them.
Right.
but it does mean that our resources aren't just devoted
No.
to the south end
No,
of the
I mean,
island.
those are
They
the
have to
well-behaved, and
Right.
also all the local police commanders from everywhere used to come to that event and sit in the VIP section. So trust me, there were lots of cops here. But it wasn't those people, that was never a problem. It was always the 6,000 who were up trying to
Right.
leave, get on the tram, get on the subway.
Right. That's
And
one of the
MTA was
backup
never great
problems.
at providing extra trains.
We know we're gonna get crowds either way. Last year, one of the ways we limited it was we had a vehicle checkpoint on the Queens side of the Roosevelt Island Bridge. And once the motorcade was full, we wouldn't allow any more vehicles on the island, because it
And
would
then
be
we have the
unsafe.
problem with, well, I came home from my summer house, why can't I get into Mohegan?
No,
actually,
no,
residents
They
residents,
had
can.
residents,
No,
proof of
we
residency,
actually-
they were
no,
fine.
residents, of course, have,
Yeah, I know.
free
Access.
access and,
We can't make any kind of decision tonight because, as I said, we're gonna weigh in from Department of Parks. We're not an island, so to speak. We are an island, jurisdictional island. You have parks, you have the city, you have, and so we have to again gather together and find out what their issues are. Everybody
Okay,
knows.
just remember when you talk to them, that despite our knowledge of our multi-jurisdictional setup, your average New Yorker or Queens res thinks that Roosevelt Island is part of the city and they have a right to be here on the Fourth of July.
Well, they have a right to be here, that's not the question, it's the right to be down on an area that has safety issues.
Well, got to find those areas.
That's
one issue is, do we, over by the entrance to the construction site, just block that road off?
Right.
Yeah, that's
That
what we
would be
did
the idea.
last
Yeah,
year.
That's what we're gonna do.
And that's what we did last year, and you even had issues then. You're always gonna have issues.
They had less issues, but when we had, one of the reasons why we put up the Jumbotron was because it gave people a place to go.
And we're gonna have the film,
We're gonna do that this year too.
we're gonna film this year.
Okay.
I think you're gonna have a report
Dave-
that there's
David,
no
the people that we-
consensus.
the vehicles that we
There is
turned
no
away?
one consensus
I'm
from.
sorry.
Right. And that's what I'm gonna report, and then
That's what.
then it
that's the
becomes
fact.
whether, the powers that be look at the safety issues and determine that.
In theory, we are the powers that be, but apparently not.
Yeah, we haven't been the powers that be for so
Well,
long
I
now.
mean, we do have multi-jurisdictional,
And
and
that's
we
for
do
the
have,
And
got
that
it.
means it's for the next few years as well,
Absolutely.
now that it's been gone for a few
Absolutely.
years. Cause there's building for the next,
no,
next
it's,
year.
no,
Cornell
wait,
site. Yeah.
it's gonna be building for a number of years. However, once the roads are open, then that gives you a safety, you can go around. Here, you
Right.
can't go around, you're really stuck.
Yeah,
But
it's
bare-
dangerous.
It's bare from
It's
the road
no,
to the.
there'll be street lighting, because they're gonna
no,
build the road.
I understand
So it's not
the
gonna
issues.
be forever.
Right.
That's my point. If both roads were open,
Right,
Again,
but
kinda
Cornell's
kinda like
building
Main
at
Street,
least
we
the
have a
next
whole lot
2
of stuff
years,
happening at the same
if-
time.
they're building in where they're building, but the
But the
roads have
roads
to
will
be
be
done, remember,
There's no
in
road
order,
now.
yeah,
There's
right
no
now,
road now.
yeah.
There's nothing on the east side of that project. The whole
I
area is
know.
just
No, the street's still there.
The road's still
The
there.
road is there.
The road
I
is
know.
still there,
Make them
but
build a
it
fence
is,
and
but
open a construction fence, like everywhere else. Have a
Well,
construction
the
fence.
only thing we could hypothetically do is have a gate attendant there for emergency, like ambulance egress. But other than that, we can't have people because there's no protection of the construction site. So you can't use that as a throughway in any way, shape, or form.
But whose job is it to protect the construction site?
Yes, why don't they build a fence?
Cornell's.
So there you go.
Let them build a fence.
No, the challenge, for nominal cases, it's their problem. If hypothetically we want to do something in Southpoint Park, then the problem would be because all the people are going to be standing on that road. If we had to get an ambulance in and out, the only way we could do it is if Cornell gave us access to the east road to take an ambulance out, because they're not going to get an ambulance on the main road. Okay, now they would have to know that they're going to keep trying to jump their fences and stuff like that for 4th of July night, and I'm sure that they're aware of that. And they're going to have 1 or 2 extra security guards on there, but that's their problem, not ours.
yes, and
Well,
that,
hang on. It was always a great pain in the ass to do it. It was always difficult. There were always challenges, and I'm kind of of the view that Margie has kind of indicated that we should do it because the challenges can be overcome. However, that view only extends up to the point where safety issues pertain. And if there's, I won't say any question of safety, because there's always a question of safety when you put 5,000 or 6,000 people anywhere. But sometimes they're peaceful. Most of these crowds have been peaceful. We had on the 4th of July last year, Didn't we have a problem up at the other end of the island, and next thing you know,
Well, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's
That-
2 years
right,
ago.
that was when I first got here.
Yeah.
We had a crowd that we had a lot of trouble getting out of Lighthouse Park.
but you guys handled that pretty good, actually, because I was watching from my office window. And there was actually a fight that took place right outside the trellis.
Yeah.
And some people in the trellis were gonna run out there and break it up, and I said, idiots. That public safety. And you know, a minute or two later, the fight ended, the kids moved, and last thing you saw was a public safety walking down the sidewalks both sides, and a cop car in the middle. And the NYPD,
Yeah.
you know, just, and it worked, but that was a more reasonable crowd. I worry about large crowds all the time, and if we have insufficient lighting, you've got a giant stairway there, for gosh sakes. Can you imagine 5,000 people up on the grass, and you know, between the rows of trees, and some bad thing happens, the kind of bad thing that we have to think about these days, and you've got them all coming down that stairway.
And you have children. We've thought about, you know, this. We didn't start talking about this 2 days ago. We've been thinking about this for a while. You know, even like Judy mentioned, the people that get turned away, that somehow get onto the island by subway, tram, or just walk over the bridge. Because the people that the vehicle, we turned away vehicles, not people. Last year we had, you know, probably 400 or 500 kind of pressed up against.
Last year was cold and wet.
Okay.
Last year it was raining.
But we,
And it wasn't the viewing that we had
yeah,
then.
it's.
But we still turned away people were hanging over Motorgate, but it was handled. And we'll handle whatever we need to handle, but there is a safety issue, and we're still in discussion about
I would personally
safety.
really love to have a nice blow-up 4th of July party. I just don't think we can do it
Nice
this
what?
year. Blow-up 4th of July party on a beautiful island, but I don't think we can do it this year.
Well, not down there, but we can do something, we're doing something.
Yeah, we have to.
We would do what we did last year. No, it was a movie. And the movie.
So we had the karaoke, we didn't have a movie
movie?
plan, we just had like the simulcast,
Right,
and
but
we
we
had
could
the,
still
the
do that.
karaoke, the
No.
karaoke didn't go
No,
over
we don't
quite
need
well.
the simulcast, you can see it actually.
Okay.
The simulcast is still nice.
From
but-
where?
I spent the last.
On Firefighters Field.
Yeah.
They had a party set up at Firefighters Field last
You
year.
can pretty much see it from the whole island.
There are refreshing beverages available if you watch the fireworks on television inside places and I have done that for the past 8 years, and I'm perfectly happy.
So, but yeah, hopefully in the near future we can have a nice celebration down there.
Once the roads are open,
That's a great idea.
you know, that would be great, but it's just the roads.
Make it like a Roosevelt Island Day, you know, community celebration.
We just have it.
That was my point, and then we won't get 7,000 people.
Oh, I
I
didn't
don't
mean on the 4th
know,
of July.
that's subject to, because it is
But why?
open
I
to the
mean, why
public.
couldn't RIRA have a permit for the whole island? Let RIRA get a permit for Southpoint Hall, or whatever area we wanted, and then it's not open to the public, and
Right,
there's
but
nothing
we still
illegal.
don't have the ability to lease it.
What we have
But
is
we're
12
only
days.
Islanders.
You can't do that, Margie. When you have
Why
five
not?
hundred.
People have weddings down at Lighthouse and they take over the park. Somebody had a wedding right down
Yeah,
at
but how many,
that dish, right?
how many people, that's completely different. Well, I mean, how many
Well, I mean, it
people,
can be
I know,
legally
I've been
done.
here through all of these 4th of Julys.
As have I.
It's mass amounts of people, and it's just, it's not gonna work if you say, you don't live here, you can't come. It's just not
But
gonna
what
work.
did we
Well,
do
we
for all
could
of
do-
those
we-
years? We sold out how many
hypothetically,
tickets?
right.
4,000 tickets at $20 a piece. We sold the money into
But
it.
you
If
see,
we don't do
okay,
that,
but
We
if
can't
you
sell
have-
them.
we always sold them.
We always
Every
sold
year
them.
we
Wait,
sold
wait,
them.
wait,
So
hold
I'm
on.
saying, we did it every year. We sold
Hypothetically,
tickets because
You
we
have
sold
you
them to
have
an
the
event.
road, Margie.
What's, we're not even
Wait, hold on a second. We have the park entrance.
Yeah, hold on.
That could be closed off. And we could say from there that it's an event that you have to buy a ticket. That's what they have done in the past, actually
Yeah,
did it for this, like, say when you had to have the right
Absolutely,
tickets and
exactly what we
armbands
did.
and stuff like that to get down
Right,
there. The
And it
problem that we're
wasn't.
having right now is the strip of land between the Southpoint Park and the tram. And that we would have to do to execute on that is we have to pull lights the entire course of the way and have lots of public safety officers, because people who can't get into Southpoint Park, because it's an event, unless we erect a gate or some kind at, by the end of the tramway and saying everything beyond here, you need an armband. Then, but see, that's not really a defined part. Could we do that? Potentially, but then we still have to have something for the point of the construction site, the tramway area north, and what happens in the rest of the island. And people who say, oh, we know what we did, it's only 12 days, there wasn't any notification that you needed to have an armband or buy a ticket or something like that to go down to the south end of the island. Would there be a problem with that even for people on the island who don't bother to check any of the social media or other aspects we have to get information out of?
And we'd have to look at the legality. A lot of things here were done
Well, she's right. There have been events down there in the past where people had to buy tickets.
You
We
sold
did
the
it for
tickets.
years and years and years and
Really?
years.
Yeah, tickets. I think we
People
had
bought
like 7
tickets.
4th of July
Right.
events
And
here.
there was entertainment.
And then, it was entertainment.
Eric remembers the
Yes.
entertainment, right? We
They had
mobile
barbecue
entertainment,
trucks
we
and
had
they
I'm
had
not
stuff
saying
down
this
there
is a
and-
good
yeah.
year to do it, I'm just saying that it's been done
Yeah.
for years and years.
a lot of things have been done, Vicky.
Yeah,
It
I
has been
know.
done where it was hosted, where they got permits to do an event down there.
Right. But will we ever do the event?
They're not represented here, so we can't.
What we did in the
Why
past.
does it have to be?
It doesn't have to be.
Well,
It doesn't have to be
somebody
rural.
if somebody has to get,
A
if somebody has to get a permit, there's an organization that's supposed to represent the residents, they could get a permit.
That's a nitpick. Yes, sure, okay.
Of course.
What we did in the past was contracted out the whole deal.
Absolutely. They had an event company come
Right.
in. You used
Yes.
event companies, a few of them.
Yeah, for the last one, that was me.
It was you?
Yeah.
Well, but before there was something.
Yeah, way back,
Yeah.
Well, way back when the VIP
Yeah.
area had
Right.
their special deal done, and then there was the rest of it.
There, that was our.
That was all the board members were
Well,
down there.
yeah, and but the main area they had like barbecue truck and a bunch of other stuff down there, and but they had to have armbands to get down there.
So maybe,
DJs.
That sounds good. Again,
There's
it's a
a
safety issue, there's one road open, it's not even a road, the road's not open,
Well,
there's a promenade open,
What's
that's it.
the thing you're going to hear from the public is that at the time we did that in the past, once you got to what is today Southpoint Park, when they opened up the gate and we put up the stanchion lighting all the way back, there wasn't even a walkway. People were walking through the dirt.
It was horrible.
Yeah,
It was
that's true.
gravel.
It was
right,
gravel and
gravel, I
dirt
remember that.
going
Yeah.
from the gate
Right.
back to where Four Freedoms is now, because they had the lawn, the roughed out. It wasn't full lawn, but it was roughed out. That's where they had the party.
Leaving after the fireworks.
And
Took
You
an
were
hour.
exhausted from walking on that cow path
Yes.
before you even got to the street
Absolutely.
by
Yes.
Goldwater, and then there was a mob to get through.
Then you
Yeah.
walked on the East Road.
And then we had a couple hours of line
was
at
old
the
as you?
tram, and at the time, we also had the old tram, was, had to go each way.
Oh my God.
And we
it
had
was-
We didn't have that many people on the island.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
It was
You
a
know,
problem.
it's,
So but again, we only have 12 days, and I don't know if we can do this.
It's A, we have 12 days, and B,
God created the
there will be a discussion held tomorrow in the morning that will determine our possibilities, at which point we can all gather again.
I have a question.
I'm sure you do.
Our sacred $700 million friends at Cornell. If it is so desperate that this road, I know they use the road, the
What's
East
the
Road.
question?
Let me finish. During the week. There's no one there on the weekends. Why isn't their construction site fenced off for, not for anyone else, but for emergency egress? They just have the whole back of the lot completely open?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Why?
They do?
Because
Why? How did we let them do this?
because they can't do construction.
Barges,
In Manhattan, they built buildings with complete fencing around.
yeah,
barges.
they don't come.
It doesn't
No,
matter, they
hold on.
gates.
Why could they? Yes, could we have managed to do so that they have a gate between the
Yes.
construction site and the barge?
Yeah.
Yes, so they need to have do they need to have the entire length of the way open? No.
No, they don't.
Okay, but now at this moment, we have 12 days, and they're not gonna do that in 12 days. They're not. I mean, we can't even get, we probably couldn't even get them to show up to the meeting in 12 days.
I don't know, comment after $700 million, and we can't get anything out of them except grief and aggravation.
that's above my pay grade.
Except my new apartment, the penthouse, residential.
Well, you won't be able to have any electric, you'll be using a rabbit in a circle because it'll be electric free or something.
But it will be a rabbit with a solar panel on its back.
And a chip in its brain.
Let's start wrapping up.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question?
Okay,
Michael, could I just, was there anything in the negotiations with Cornell or in the environmental impact statement with Cornell as to what their responsibilities were during construction on the 4th of July? I seem to recall there was something about it, but I'm not sure.
let's see.
do not recall
Yeah.
anything for the
Certainly not
4th of
recall.
July with Cornell, no.
No, I do not recall anything, I'm not saying there weren't, I'm
Yeah.
saying I do not recall anything particular about 4th of July in it.
They're not
To
caring
close,
about
to close
our
out that
4th of
agenda
July.
item, we will wait for the calls tomorrow,
Either is
and if we have some kind of response from other sources, we will figure out what we need to do beyond.
In 11 days.
In 11 days, and I don't know what we can do in 11 days, and to get that type of equipment, we would need to do, would almost certainly require a board item, because we'd have to get a whole bunch of lights, a bunch of people, and a whole lot of
Well,
other
I'll
stuff.
just make a lot of calls and I would ask for ratification, because we're not gonna get it on the board.
Yeah, it would be a problem, so we'll see what happens.
The lights themselves are a problem if you visualize Promenade,
Yes.
visualize the roadway, where are you gonna put?
A bunch of diesel powered stanchion lights,
Right,
a whole series of them
right,
all
right,
around the
with
road.
roads, gating around
And
it to keep the
you'd
public
have to
from being
fence
crossed.
around all
Yes,
of them.
that's, it said there's not much space there,
So
it will be a problem.
12 union operators.
Probably not operators. So it is a problem, I don't foresee a necessary way around it at the moment.
Well,
Unless we
let's
get
leave
orders
it all.
above.
Right.
I would suggest in summary that we follow our own advice and hear what people have to say to us tomorrow, and that will give us the scope that we can, within which we can work.
Yes,
In the meantime, there's at least 2 board members here, committee members here that want to adjourn this meeting.
Well, no, we got one more thing about any other thing, just.
yeah, one